Wah! All right.
Wahoo!
Wahoo. We are here. Oh my gosh. We are almost done with October, y'all. What the hell?
What the heck?
What the heck and heck,
It just
y'all?
arrived. What happened?
No!
I haven't even had pumpkin spice yet.
You know what? I haven't
There's
either.
time.
Honestly, I have not
Okay.
either.
You were gonna.
You go to the place
We don't have
that
it.
Terra works. I'm not going to name them since we're not sponsored, but you go there and you get a dirty iced chai with pumpkin cold foam on top.
Oh,
Thank
I
you
actually,
later.
you know what? You know what? I take that back. I did have that, but it's been a couple months.
It's called a
Because
pumpkin cream.
whenever
cold
it
foam.
first,
pumpkin cream chai.
yeah, whenever
get
it
a
first
shot of
came
espresso
out a
added.
while back, I went to this place with some friends after we went to go eat at that Vietnamese place that me, Themisto, and Astrid went to.
I love that place.
Yeah.
And I had one of those, and I had not had that in a hot minute. So, but they had
Bernie,
just
that's what it's called.
Bernie.
Yeah.
Minutes do get very hot.
Yes. It took me a minute. I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? Oh yeah, no, you're good. What was I gonna say? Thanks for everybody who came and hung out with us on Friday over at where was I? Marquee Gaming. It was a lot of fun to be over there, and it was very interesting way to die multiple times. So, you know. Yep.
Yeah, by the time I got to my desk and sat down and started watching, you were already dead.
I mean, to be fair, I did
Again.
appreciate, I did appreciate how they did it by assigning us multiple level 1 characters that we could choose from, and then he'd just pull a name from a little box, and then we would go to that character sheet and play that character until all
That's
characters
fun.
were done. And then I got to be a cat. I was the only one who got to be a cat. Because once you run out of
So-
characters, you get to be a cat.
You went like reverse Jellicle Ball. You
A
fed
what?
your little men through a meat grinder, and then you became a cat at the end of it.
That's a good time
Andrew
to admit I've
Lloyd
never seen
Webber.
cats.
Yeah.
No. So it was a
It's
very,
always a good
Cats.
time to say you've never seen cats.
it was a very interesting time. I wound up
For context, everybody, multiple plural contexts. So, our friends over on Marquee Gaming do like a horde mode competitive teams get together over a course of weekends and compete for points, defeating wave after wave, piloting like NPC style characters like the mayor and the chef.
Go, chef.
And Aaron was over there doing that.
Yep.
It's called The Sepulchre, indeed. It's hardcore, and it's a lot of fun.
Except for-
that will be ongoing. Check that out.
I think they'll have another one this weekend, as far as I remember.
I think
Then another
so.
one this Friday. I think there's only 3 teams this season. So hopefully they get lower score than us, and that way we can get second. Because first place got a ridiculous score. The first place so far is like 1,400
Was Vix
points.
on that team?
No. I think they're actually this next one. I think. So we'll see. We'll see.
Speaking of Vix, if you missed the stream on Sunday, I got 2 guests in a Kids on Bikes stream over with our friends on Top Down Tabletop. It's already on YouTube, and it's a lot of fun. And part 2 is coming, I think, November 10th.
For the uninitiated, tell us what Kids on Bikes is.
Kids on Bikes is a really fun Stranger Things-esque game. This is their 3rd year with their characters after being asked for 3 years. I'm finally not on vacation when they play and got to join. And this time they went from preteens to actual teens. They made it to high school in the year of 1995.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun.
Very nice.
There's angst and
They're growing.
ghosts
I love
and
that.
parody names of popular 90s media. That's a lot of fun.
Can you give us an example? Because I want to know these puns.
Oh, my character's Halloween costume was one of the seasoning ladies. She was cinnamon.
Is the mom that drives them around called Old Spice or?
No, there were bikes. There were no parents.
Hmm,
Well, there's a stepmom for like 30 seconds in the game, and that's it.
nice. Everybody loves a vodka aunt.
Alrighty. Well, stay
Well,
tuned
tomorrow
for tomorrow.
we have Vampire the Masquerade as we re-spool back up Savannah by Nights. And we try to see what sort of things that our new fledgling vampires can get themselves into. Some of them have some direction. Some of them are in dire need of some guidance. Looking at Dream's character for no particular reason because she brings it up.
Several of us will be there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's about time to get started. So let us jump into tonight's episode of Game of Myth.
Myth of Santos.
Yeah.
See, if you had said
Myth of
Zantos, I'd have just been like, yes, that is the game
Yeah,
you're playing.
that's the one. That's the one.
not.
To be fair, it has now been 5 years. I don't know. It's been a while since
Oh my
been a while.
god.
I think it's
6.
5. It's
It's
getting
like
to 6.
it's like I think it's 6
It's like about to
because
be.
we were hitting 2 years when COVID happened, and that's
It
been
has
4 years
years
now.
since COVID, because that's when
Since
my child was
2020
born.
2020.
4 years since COVID.
It's been 4
What?
years since 2020.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all I
it's
know.
2024.
That's
Yeah.
the easiest way to tell. It's so yeah. It's
It
been
is 2024, so yes, it has been 4 years.
so
So that
happy.
means late November-ish. It'll be 4 years since I've known you.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
wow. I'm sorry.
You know, mistakes
Guest
were
spot
made.
that
It's
never
fine.
ended.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, happy game anniversary for Sonder and Iskra. And Iskra, you are the 2 longest running members so far. So, you have survived for so long. Particularly Sonder. Sonder, you have been here since
Despite all
That-
attempts.
since for a very long time.
That
so.
means come 420, it'll be 4 years for me.
You
Which is
die?
wild because I was not the last person to join. The
the
last
base-
person to
the
join
last-
from
the
home
home
group?
group. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
and
only-
I'm here.
No, there were others that came after you, but you were the longest. I mean, you were the only one that survived to the end.
The 6th anniversary is the Iron Gift year.
All right, so
Just
Oh.
FYI.
yeah,
So you're getting
so
an ironing
Astrid-
board?
Yay! A cast iron skillet. Yeah, Astrid, I'll give you
To
a
the
cast
face.
iron skillet. Oh no!
Oof, there's
Hey,
a
I could
Brent
use some
Buck
cast iron Scooby.
stand-up joke in there somewhere.
Oh my
Is it
god!
seasoned?
No, you'll have to season it yourself. All right, let's get started before we get distracted.
One more quick thing. One
Yeah.
more quick thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about dates, particularly 2020 and 2024, there's something else that happens every 4 years in the United States, the presidential election. Early voting is ongoing in pretty much all of the states now. So if you have not voted, please consider doing so. It is a very, very important, very, very tight election. If you need help with that, we don't really do politics on our Discord, but I do. If you want to send me a DM in there, I can get you set straight.
Also, Ballotpedia is a website that's a good starting place. It might not have all of your down ticket candidates, but it's a good place to start that collects information on candidates and their policies and voting
And
records.
vote.gov.
I have a link with, well, anyone who's in Texas at least, but it basically gives you all of the locations that you can go and early vote, and regular vote. I can send that to you guys if you want.
Yeah, do it.
So yeah, we got the
Yeah.
hookups.
Yeah, all the hookups, all of it. We have the AV, we have the HDMI, we have
USB
Display
USB.
port.
and aux.
the aux. We have the aux. We have the aux. All right, let's get into tonight's episode. Here we go. "19th of Thargelion, Hemeradios. Traveling with a group as large as ours was, at that time, a curiosity to say the least. I was no stranger to traveling with a caravan, for I had done so to find my way through the great deserts of Al-Kebulan, south of Kemet. But we use no pack animals. We travel by foot, across path and no path, clambering over rocks and through wood. We ford creek bed, both empty and full. Yet we travel nonetheless. Never a true complaint, though I have a list running in my mind. Curious, these godlike ones, with all of their power and possibly position, never lord it over the rest of us. They continue for the time being to act as one of the people. Perhaps because they still believe themselves to be no different than the rest of us. Time, of course, would tell if that remained so. Traveling after acquiring some goods for sacrifice to Poseidon along our journey, we traveled towards Argos. Before reaching the city, Phoebe decided now was as good a time as any to try and assert dominance of some sort over the young member of the pirate Mystios, Mog, the Slayer of Zala, Splitter of Heads of the Ebony Blade. A list of titles I learned from speaking to the young one evening. I watched as two fierce warrior folk did a sort of battle in an empty field outside of Argos. Only, instead of combat, as it was clear Mog had been expecting, they were made to eat sand, as Phoebe danced her way around Mog and slammed her into the ground. A fury of fiery wrath was nearly unleashed at that moment. But Captain Amadeo stepped in the blink of an eye, intercepting a strike against Phoebe. Their fury being bridled for the time being, Mog stormed away, embarrassed and shown up in front of their peers. Sometimes what appears to be good intentions can lead to not so good things, as we would eventually see. During the rest of the day, we reached the illustrious city of Argos, filled with expert craftsmen. The young gods found themselves suddenly forgetting all else in the world as they sought new and shinier weapons, and a few other trinkets that would catch the eyes of those they held in close esteem. It was a time of distractions as the fledgling Orphics split, finding purchases under the pocket of Amadeo and Margetta, who would bring such bills to the kings of Sparta. But that will be its own story one day, I assure you. It was during this shopping spree that young Laertes finds himself being called upon by a curious, stout man of smaller stature, telling him that he knows where to go for the gemstones that he seeks. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Last we left off, Phoebe and Laertes, you are following this strange, short individual. I guess, as was described a moment ago, stout in nature, yet perhaps a little height deficient.
Is he voiced by Robin Williams?
No.
Or Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Oh my god.
I mean, the only way that would make it better for me personally is if it's Joe Pesci.
Mhm. I'm just one of the regular kids. What was it? What was that line that he says? Wasn't
You're,
something like that?
you're thinking of Steve Buscemi.
Oh, that's right.
How you
That's
do,
right.
fellow kids. I'm thinking
Yeah.
Joe Pesci, like, am I here to amuse you?
Let me.
How am I funny?
Let me see.
Rita Rudna funny. Oh my god, thank you.
Where is my city? Oh wait, that's not the right one. This is the right one. As you find yourself in the market. Walking out of the place that you had been, this man kind of turns around once to make sure that you are indeed following him before he starts in amongst the crowd, and you are in like a market sector of the city, a market oh my god, what is the word I'm looking for?
Like a bazaar kind
Yeah,
of
the market quarter of Argos. And you can see that he is leading you towards more of the craftsman center. I'm assuming that you both follow.
thing. Mm-hmm.
He leads you into the craftsman quarter, but particularly towards that of the where you see there's a few blacksmiths that seem to be clanking away at the their craft here. And it is as you passed there that there's more of that heat, the smell of smoke, the ambiance changes. It is, you can smell the iron in the air, the fire. Let's say the fire and the brimstone. No brimstone, just fire. I've been playing too much Conan.
That's a different quarter.
I've been playing too much Conan. I'm like, metal crafting, you put brimstone in it. Okay. As you
Why is Ranger here?
I know, it's like I don't know where that came from. But you do follow him, and he goes as he walks in his quarter. He goes, "Now, I want to make sure that you understand that my employer is peculiar to the eyes. Try not to make a big deal of it. He is very focused in on his particular crafts, if you catch my drift."
What exactly makes them peculiar?
Well, how about you follow me and you will see for yourself. Come this way. And he leads you around the side of a building and into a very narrow alley. And it's one of those like...
Us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's once you get here that you kind of like... Where is he taking me?
This is a Mugger's Alley, I assume
Yes.
is what it's called. Okay.
Yes. Thanks for the raid. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Bakido.
Oh, hey,
right.
buddy. I know that guy.
Yeah.
He's good people.
Good people.
But it's someone I consider good people, so...
Fair.
Yeah.
Noted. So that means if you... Okay, no. I'm not going to go. That's fine.
Back to Mugger's Alley.
Back to Mugger's Alley. This alley sitting between two buildings starts to take stairs and steps that go down, and you find that they are carved into the ground. They are not paved in any way. They are not set with stone or brick like the other parts of the city are. This is like cut into the ground, and you can see that as it comes back to the back end of this building, it keeps taking steps. The steps are uneven. There are some that are larger, some that are steeper. You can literally put your hands out like this and touch both sides of the wall that you are going down. Like, and it is rough mud brick, and it almost looks like you're starting to go down into what you as players know as, okay, this music needs to come down because it's not making this any better. Almost like walking into a foxhole, I guess. It's kind of like it's trenched and dug in, but like pressed with wood and other supports to keep it from like collapsing in. You reach the back of the building and you see that this alley takes a sharp right and goes against the back of this blacksmith that you had just like basically walked behind his house or building, and it goes further down. You are now at least a story down before it looks like there is a crevice that has been carved into the bottom of this house. And the man stops and gestures for you to go inside.
I give Phoebe a look.
Can I give him a quick insight check?
Sure.
Kind of get a read on this guy just before we enter said building.
Mhm.
A natural 20 for a 26.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
He has not given... He's peculiar, but he's not giving you any like malicious intent vibes.
Cool. Then I'll nod at Laertes and follow in.
You step through and into this tightened space, and you find that you have to kind of squeeze in a little bit. It's not necessarily claustrophobia inducing of a squeeze, but it is a tight space. And this is basically a crevasse that has been, that it looks partially on accident, partially like the earth just split enough to where you can walk inside. And then you find yourself in a chamber filled with steam. And it takes a little bit for your eyes to adjust to whatever it is that is in this dimly lit area. You see that there is what looks like a hearth that has a very low flame. Various prongs of metal are like dug into what looks like an ash heap that probably has extended over the last few days worth of lumber. Pieces of metal. You can see other pieces of firewood that haven't fully burnt out, and it has that really strong smell of smoke, almost to the point of being choking, but not enough to where it goes to that degree. Obviously, there's probably some ventilation here, but very, very little. And you can feel that there is heat, and it feels like it's both radiating from hearth and somehow also from the ceiling above. If you both wish, make perception checks.
Hell yeah.
Phoebe is hoping that this is someone that Laertes has been hoping for.
Dirty 20.
Only a 6.
For Phoebe, there's definitely a lot of.
It's a house.
Well, it's not even a house. It's
a room.
It's a room. It's probably about 20 feet across. Kind of circular, almost dome shaped, but definitely almost gives you like a cave. It doesn't seem naturally made, but it doesn't seem natural in formation, but it doesn't quite seem made either. It's very much like you took a gumdrop, the 20-foot size gumdrop out of the earth. It's just this weird dome kind of thing with muddy walls. And it would seem that one of the walls moves, and with it, you hear the hiss of steam. And there's like more smoke that comes out, and you realize that there is a section of the wall that was covered by a being that's probably about 8 feet tall. This individual turns around, and you find yourself face to face with a Goliath. He turns around and looks down at both Phoebe and Laertes. And who are these individuals that Orko has brought my way?
My name is Laertes of Sagan.
And I'm Phoebe.
Yes, Phoebe of Corinth, yes? I am Athos. I was apprentice to Hephaestus, and also a member of our illustrious organization run by Ares and Heket.
Sorry, can you say his name again for me?
Athos.
Athos.
You see now as your eyes are adjusting to this dim light and the orange, like somewhat glow that's coming from the burning hearth, and what looks like a wall place furnace, where he had been kind of covering. He is wearing a loincloth, and his whole body is covered in what looks like almost like orangish clay. There's like, you can see where parts of it on his bulging arms is dried now up near the top, so it's got that like cracked desert flat earth looking, but then the further down his arms it goes, it gets muddier and muddier, and you can see like he's definitely been working with molding or fixing clay, and where he normally would just wipe his hands on his body is like you can see just the smears of fresh clay, and then where it has dried over time. For Laertes, you do notice that he even has what looks like on his shoulder. There's where like you would put a pauldron sort of thing. There is what looks like a small piece of leather that is tied across his shoulder, and it's got some sort of like crystalline growth on it. And he like looks down at you. I was told that you are in the possession of something unique, I believe Hecate said.
You'd have to be more specific, I suppose.
I recognize within you the eyes of a clever devil, but also a craftsman. I think you know what I'm speaking of.
He's going to reach into not the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the bag, but the hidden little part of his sleeve as the crystal floats out. And otherwise, at closer or immediate inspection, looks like a 20-sided piece of prism, but it doesn't move correctly. Even when still, it seems like the facets are animated, twisting in on itself. Spinning and casting off little bits of, like kind of like a light catcher prism, just spitting off little bits of light here and there.
May I?
You would understand my hesitation, but
Of course. But you are in the presence of friends. Friend. He gestures to Phoebe. Friends.
I'll give her a look. And I will float it over towards him.
Extend a hand, and it floats from your source over to his ginormous palm in comparison. It is very much like a human holding a marble. Like, it's just this teeny tiny little orb of crystal that floats above his palm. And you make an Arcana check for him, actually.
Yes. Uh, 17.
This
I
whole
would like
thing-
to point out, sorry, I also casted Fortune's Favor earlier.
Mhm.
I had it marked off, but I'm not using it yet.
Okay. You see before you not necessarily a quandary, but an interesting. Oh my god, the words are failing me today. I apologize. It is not. It is when two things exist, but they are in opposition to each other. I feel like it starts
Paradox.
with paradox. Thank you. This strange paradox of this behemoth of an individual, muscle bound and gritty and dirty, yet he moves this object in the air with the care and manipulation of the same arcane forces that you do. A very different arcane user, you could say. And he takes it in his hand and he peers at it, moves closer, and he gets down on his haunches, kind of like a child who's playing with a stick on the ground, and he like gets down, and like you can see these giant knees that start to come up to his shoulders as he kind of like rests one hand on a knee and starts stroking his chin, which you thought was just like this really long pointy chin. You just realize it's just crusted earth that he is now like pulled into what looks like a beard, but it's just now dried and solidified onto himself. It looks like a rock that is now just attached to the bottom of his chin, and he like has it in front of himself, and he's like, "Truly incredible, this thing you've created. I don't think you realize how precious this is.
I've been starting to.
He removes his hand and it stays floating. He like gets both hands now and reaches out to either side of the wall, and you see tethers and strings, sparkling glimmers of orange and red, very similar to the kind of pullings that you Laertes have done, and even to a degree that Phoebe has seen. This mix between ribbons of fire and sparkling energy as he pulls tools, and you see from one side and on the other side he pulls more crystals, larger ones, very similar in shape and size to the ones that you have pulled from the ruins and the island of Atlas. We'll just call it the island of Atlas right now. Brings them over, and these tools are intricate. It's like looking at a Swiss Army knife, but of maybe a fine gearsmith, something that has not been quite invented yet. But it's like there's just all sorts of peculiar little tools. You see some little flat circles of glass, a la not microscope, magnifying glass sort of thing. And as he like holds it to a certain point in the air, it catches the light from the hearth and like fires off a little beam of reddish orange light that hits the crystal, and then it like refracts and shoots a light in all directions. A near perfect replica. Oops. Boop.
The beam of light was too much.
Yep. 3.5 seconds. Ah! Let me take this.
While you're
there
getting
we go.
that sorted, I'm just so ecstatic at this Assassin's Creed Fess's workshop-esque thing we got going on here. This is pretty rad.
He looks at it and so close, yet not the same, but probably one of the best that you could find or imagine in this universe. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in everything here. How much do you know of Cleosite?
More than most, less than I'd like.
Clearly. It is said that Cleosite was one of the first miracles brought from our ancestors to this place. It does not exist in this universe, nor can it be replicated. You have created something that the old kingdom would not have been able to have seen made. At least, not for 1,000 years, it would seem.
I just followed the math.
He falls back on his butt, stretches his legs out that now like extend almost to a good portion of the room. Just laughs heartily in this like not quite Santa Clausy kind of ho ho ho, but that level of like just hearty, jolly laughter that resonates around the room. And it's one of the first times that you realize that there is a strange resonance to this space. You hear a lot in media that high tone, like when they use the sound for crystal a lot, it's just like this really crystalline, like vibrational sound that kind of rings in the ears. A smidge below that to where it's just barely noticeable but still fills this space. And his laugh almost harmonizes in this weird way that makes you realize that there is even this sound in the air. You see, Lady Hakate told me that you were going to be passing through the city and that you had been trying to work on something to enhance something of crystalline properties that you had created. She did not, or perhaps she failed to tell me the true extent about what it was that you had created. Perhaps you...
Just like to keep secrets.
I see what you did there. She does. That she does. I never in all my years would have expected to see Cleosite replicated in... Now do not take this the wrong way. In such a primitive but promising way. We had, for all intents, lost hope in replicating the process of recreating this sort of miracle. We have only, until now, that which was left behind by the collapse, the fall of the Old Kingdom. To my knowledge, and the knowledge of my master, no other Orphic has ever been able to recreate pure Cleosite. But this is a pretty good start. And you say you've not been trained by any craftsman. It was just following the math?
Trying to reverse engineer the pieces that I found that didn't work. Trying to understand what they should have done. And extrapolating from there.
He's like listening. He goes and reaches into this, like, as he moves, there's like this swirling of the mist that is part smoke, part steam in this place. And it is extremely muggy and humid in here. It is damp, would be a light end of the words to use for this place. You already can feel your clothes starting to like soak in the abundant moisture in the air. Probably good, because if it wasn't for this kind of moisture, this place he probably would have dried up into like a solid mass with the amount of mud and stuff that is caked on him. Plus, this whole space probably would have crumbled somewhat. From an alcove that's in the wall, he pulls out a large log and like tosses it into the fire. It starts to burn up again. What was it that you were trying to accomplish with this miraculous thing that you have done?
Sorry, Aaron, what was I trying to accomplish, or what am I trying to accomplish?
What were? Yeah,
What
was.
were? Okay.
What was? What was?
Initially, it was about trying to understand what it even was, what it did, based on the few scant writings I could find, the few scattered, broken examples left in the world, and trying to divine its purpose. And as I started to reverse engineer and rework the math with iteration after iteration, I'm not sure if I was replicating what it did or grafting onto it what I hoped it could do.
You have managed to recreate a portion of what Cleosite could do. but still a very important portion. We, no, they, at one time, were able to store more than just. You have information stored within its center, yes?
That was primarily its purpose for me is mathematics for the things I have to do are so complex and dense that paper and papyri doesn't do it justice.
And it probably never will. You are able to store ideas, thoughts, things intangible into a tangible device. A thing of pure nature's beauty. In its original form, you could store much more than this. You could store beyond ideas. You could store dreams, visions, voices, memory, even things.
People.
It is said, yes. The usage of such has been lost for some time. There are still some working pieces that could achieve this, but they are well guarded and protected, and are among the purest forms of Cleosite. In the several hundred years that I have worked on them, I have not seen any of the purest of that form. But I have heard stories, and there is still tale that Olympus has some of the few remaining original and purest forms of Cleosite in existence still. I am afraid that I myself cannot replicate that into what you have made, as this is something new altogether. But it might be possible to enhance somewhat. It would take time, though.
If it's feasible, we are heading towards something. And I've been using it as not just storage, but focusing through it at times, hoping that I can, to some extent, increase my ability for just a moment when it really matters.
And therein lies the challenge. For me to enhance this myself, I would need days to study what you have done, so that I do not destroy in the process what has already been stored, but also do not ruin the potential of what you have for the future. Given a week with instruction that I could give you, you could probably do this on your own. I have within my possession a few trinkets of my own that would allow us to communicate, so that we might work together, but with the time that is required to share this information would take even longer. But No, I would not ask this of you. He starts to stroke his rock beard. Would you be willing to work through the night?
I look at Phoebe, and I'm starting to remember, Aaron, what's the next destination on our trip?
Isn't it Corinth?
Nemea is the next stop,
Oh, okay.
then Corinth.
And were we intending to beeline through Nemea to get to Corinth, or trying to
think
remember what the
that
plan
was the
there?
intention.
I was like that. Left up to you guys.
Okay. That would be exhausting, but I think worth it in the end.
He looks over at Phoebe. You, as his guardiani, do you allow him to stay here?
I couldn't stop Laertes in anything if he set his mind to it.
That is fair, but he is under your protection, is he not?
Just gonna look at Laertes.
Not in any official capacity, but we are companions.
I try to keep him out of too much trouble. He does the same for me.
Fair. But I recognize within you the spirit of a fighter, and this one, a doer. It was the way of things before. The fighter protects the doer.
Maybe a better way is that we just protect each other.
As it has been. He looks over at the log, and that's now starting to burn. And you watch as he extends his hand, and he looks like he's about to stick his hands into the fire itself. He instead pulls the energy from the fire. You see the heat and the fire and the embers start to cool as the swirl of fiery energy, the same sparkle that he had used before to pull things in towards him, is now absorbed from the fire itself. And it goes into his hand, and you can see it like go through fingers, hand, arm, and up through his body as it kind of lights within him and kind of spreads and dissipates across his body. You can see him seem to gather strength, as it were. He goes, "We will probably need much more wood, but..."
Does it feel different than how my solar flares kind of feel to me in that magic sense?
Make a wisdom or intelligence. I'll let you choose.
Let's do wisdom, because I'm better at that. That is a 19.
Okay. I will say that you have never seen this before. But watching him do this makes you realize something that you had not considered. The days that you feel weakest seem to be the days when you have not felt the sun. And nothing seems to power you more than being in the sun's warmth and energy and light. For it is every day when you pray in that first beam of light that you feel its radiance enter your body and reinvigorate your soul. Sure, you rest and you sleep and you feel the natural course of absorbing rest from that, replenishment from that, but this is a thought that's never occurred to your mind before, that maybe it is the sun that powers you. for Laertes, I would argue that there's also a little bit of a curious realization here of him having absorbed the energy as he then manipulates the stone that had fallen into place in his hand. It now lifts up again and then moves over towards you. So, by morning, we work diligently, and you will have to spare my simplicity, as I do not have a mind for math. I just simply know how a craft should be done, as was taught to me by my master craftsman.
Oh, as long as you'll be patient with me and kind.
Laertes, if you'd like to stay, I can let the others know where you are. Maybe send Davos Xanthus here, just to keep an eye on you.
Let them know where I am, but I think we might be using the space a bit.
Do not
Last
worry.
time,
What were you gonna say?
the last time I worked on something like this, I didn't say I blew up the lab, but we took a lot of space trying to make it work.
Yes, you keep referring to that, and you've yet to share the full story.
Well, a little something we call in academia the noodle incident. We don't really explain it, it's just a fun thing that we bring up from time to time.
But I look at Athos, and maybe in the late hours of the night, when his lips are a little looser, he will tell you the full story.
If it is one to be told, I will not pry.
Craftsman to craftsman.
Craftsman to craftsman. We have a Hades amount of work to attend to. But I
And I will
feel
let you
that
get
we
to
will
it.
get it done.
Athos, I leave you in his care. And
And-
Laertes, I leave him in your care. Don't
He is in good hands, he says.
just
He,
take care of each other.
You hear the the squish of the mud between fingers. It's like he is in good hands. Maybe not.
Laertes is gonna die.
Maybe
Don't
not.
break him or anything.
No. But through the fire, he will get stronger. In a figure of speech. I will not throw you in the fire. That would be counterproductive to one of the greatest minds that has been born this generation.
Well, I guess I'll be here.
Laertes, we will send word when we find a place to stay for the night.
Thank you.
And I will head back to the previously agreed upon meeting place.
The Arby's is down the street and over on the left. Nice.
We have the lamb meat.
Where's the beef? Or where's the euro, I guess, in this end. In this
So
case.
go to the stand of Argos. He is there with these euros.
Argos.
Is this guy's bat cave or whatever? Is it directly underneath the Arby's or?
It is underneath a rather large blacksmith. And as over the course of the next few hours, you learn a couple of things. He absorbs the energy and the heat from above, as well as that of his own fire, to help him produce the arcane effects that you do. Make a history check for me.
Has that not do the thing that I wanted to do? Not bad. 24.
Athos is well, historically is mythologically a giant that is a one of the craftsmen and is kind of has some ties to Poseidon. But you find that he is of the Goliath variety, but is kind of closely related to some earth elementals, and has a very keen mind for crystals and thus Cleosite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you do ask about Hephaestus.
Oh yeah, I have to.
um,
I mean, you're cool and all, but your boss. Tell me about your boss. He sounds cool.
he does speak that for many years he had worked under Hephaestus, but
Mhm.
that Hephaestus is currently undergoing a massive construction work for the fold, recreating, rehabilitating, and reconstructing various places across the globe of the earth, to one day be home to this organization. He speaks of places in, oh my gosh, what did I call it earlier? Speaks of places in Alkebulan, which is Africa. He
Does he
speaks.
mention Hyperborea?
He speaks of Scandia,
So yes, okay.
Melanesia,
Hmm.
which would be would nowadays Oceania. Abya Yala, a place that he calls the land that flourishes in massive green jungles and people who live high in mountain cliffs, which would be for us South America. So quite like an expansive work project of differing little places.
What was the word we used for, not cloister,
Priory.
priory? Does he say that word at all?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
He's basically rebuilding or constructing places to become priories for the fold across the world.
I mean, as much as Laertes would be excited to learn all about that,
It's not a
it would
conversation
be,
that
yeah, it'd be more a case of, I imagine it would come out through him asking more about Athos's work and history and how he got involved in things, why he does the things that he does. Yeah, he'd ask like some more bigger questions about Hephaestus because obviously, but he'd want to know more about why Athos, why any of this matters to him, like beyond just the reasons for coming to this universe because he seems to know all about that, but just what drives him.
yeah. I'll give you a little snippet of that later.
Okay. Yep.
Give you some details for you to ponder. Okay. The rest of you guys, what the heck are you all doing?
Well, do we find the shield place? We got the shields.
Yes. So in trying to find some stuff for the shields, Argos's craftsmen, when it comes to weapons, seem to be in a flurry of activity. You can easily find replacement shields of a stronger variety than you have, but to get them reinforced would take 2 to 3 days. Being said,
Damn.
the reason for this is stories are starting to escalate of unknowns happening across the country. Stories are now spreading of the events in Sparta about the monsters within the mountains that have made the herds of Goliath move from their normal habitation. Dangers on the sea that have caused various shipping issues, ships being sunk, people disappearing on the coast. It seems that there is a time of upset. There's like dangerous times. And so there has been an increase in the call for production. So they have made stuff, but to like from their production to be then trying to refit something that's already done, it just will take time as it has to be fit into a queue. And they've been working.
Would I use rich person powers to jump the line?
No, unfortunately not.
Could I make the case that the Pythia and her companions need this? Like rush order, because I'm still heading out on my pilgrimage and I can't wait. And you wouldn't want the next Pythia to be destroyed by the happenings, would you?
Make a persuasion check.
And you wouldn't want the Pythia to be destroyed by the happenings, would you?
So what you're saying is you want me dead.
The fact that under normal circumstances, you probably would have had advantage with this, but because of the circumstances, the fact that you're asking under this guise gives you the ability to ask this at all.
Of course. Okay, let's see what we got. Not too shabby. I'm persuasive. Right? Right? 16.
16.
I rolled a 10.
The things you're trying to get me to do would not become easy. We have been working for days tirelessly trying to produce things for Argos and the various cities around.
I am sure the shields that you have on offer are beautiful, but of course, this one has religious significance to me and these to my guardiani, so...
"2 days. It is the best I can do. Otherwise, it would have taken to the end of the week."
At this point, I do not know that Laertes is currently undertaking a longer project, so it goes, I would very much like to do this, but unfortunately my timeline and yours do not agree. I appreciate you being willing to shorten it for me, but I will take the shields you already have then.
I pray that your journey is a safe one and that you do not require these things. It is a dangerous time.
It is indeed. Thank you. I'm sure your prayers are heard.
This old man and his very tired-looking family who work here, you can tell that there is a strong level of like regret. Like they really wish that they can like do better, but it'll take time just to get it done.
Could you perhaps point me to where I could buy some paints?
Well, sure. In the craftsman's area, there will be plenty of those who sell pigments.
Then that is where I will go. I will take this smaller shield and these two then as well.
Okay. We'll add that to your list of things billed to the kings of Sparta.
Oh, I subtracted the cost
Yeah.
from my thing last time.
Oh, did you? Okay,
when
okay.
You were telling me how much it was going to be.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Who all's with? So you have Davos and Xanthus with you, yeah?
I think I would have been there
Yeah,
too.
every-
I'm
I
also there, I
think-
believe.
Yeah, Astrid and
So, I was looking for the
Cypress
same
wanted
thing.
shields too, so our crew is all
Okay.
together
Okay.
buying.
Then yeah,
Um,
we will discuss payment later. But yes, you guys can. Then in that case, we will be able to get. We'll just count this as the whole like. Within like 2-3 hours, you're able to like get the things that you guys were looking for: the swords, the shields, the spears,
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff.
Then I had also subtracted
bows.
who's the
my gold.
headphones?
The what? No, I said the bows. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Amadeus, once you guys have all gathered, we'll say that you guys gathered together again, finding Phoebe, sans Laertes.
So we happen to meet someone in a similar organization to us. And the Laertes is going to stay there and do his science thing all night.
You see, Amadeus like expression going from like to like. I'm sorry. Who did you say this person was that he is staying with?
An apprentice of Hephaestus.
Oh, okay. An apprentice of Hephaestus. You do know this is Argos, yes? That like it could have just been, a ruse. I'm not going to get paid if not all of you make it to the end of the line.
I've seen what this man, Athos, can do.
Athos.
What, do you know Athos?
No? Should I know Athos?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know. Why are you asking me?
told
Okay.
him-
Whenever you hear a new name, to say it's like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I told him I would send word when we knew where we were staying tonight.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to find another place to stay tonight. I mean, we'll just have to find somewhere comfortable. I mean, we've been traveling for a long time now, and I want you guys to be well rested and being able to recuperate.
Just add it to your bill.
I will definitely do that. Marqueta, we're going to have to look for a house of travels for these people to make sure that they are comfortable. Of course, something lavish, not too lavish. We don't want it, to go to their heads, but we want them to be, we're traveling by order of the kings of Sparta. That deserves, a little respect. Don't worry. We'll find you somewhere very nice to put your head down.
As we make our way through the city, can I keep an eye out on the off chance that I see Brice again?
Sure. Make a perception check.
14.
14. Okay. City is packed with people, as kind of to be expected. Most of them seem to be merchants, travelers, those looking to buy, sell, trade things. You don't see any familiar faces. You are led eventually to a house of the travelers. This one being pretty nice. It was at one time a gymnasium that was converted to house people that were traveling. So it covers a pretty sizable amount of space. It's got its
So it's very Brooklyn with like the exposed brick and like the open floor plan.
A little bit of that. It's got a really large courtyard in the center that would normally have like a training area, but the training area now has like a large water pool in the center. There's got various parlors for massage and the working of muscles. It is like I said, it was a gymnasium that was converted for travelers to be able to stay there, to be treated as athletes, which at the time, athletes are pretty high up there when it comes to having the royal treatment. So it has it's basically your staying at a travel spa, a spa made for travelers. If you've ever been to a Korean spa, oh my gosh, got everything there that you ever could want. But yeah, you got food and places to stay. There's other people, other travelers that are staying here. It seems that there is a traveling caravan of merchants and farmers that are on their way, and across the Helens, and they are currently the other majority of the tenants here. I think there's about 6 of them that are staying here, plus your 12. So with, 11 now. But with that total crew, like, that's going to fill up this place pretty much. But you have a place to stay.
As we're getting the room sorted and everything, I would like to pull Themisto to the side. Themisto, I have something for you.
Do you?
Yes, let me see your hand.
Reach my hand out.
And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna kiss the inside of her wrist real quick and then slide the bracelet on. And you see this very delicate golden snake bracelet that now winds its way around your wrist.
Phoebe, she is beautiful.
Not half as beautiful as the wearer, but she comes close.
Themisto will place her hand behind Phoebe's neck and give her just enough of a dip with a kiss. A little tug with her fangs. I love her.
As I love you.
I love you too. There's something, huh? You are wearing one from me, and then I have a bracelet from you.
Good. That is how I got it.
Does she have a name?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it will take me a moment then to come up with a good name for a snake. I have so many.
All the good names are taken.
Yes. But this one, gold, I will think that has to go into it. How was your and Laertes running about? Did you find what you needed?
Well, that was what I was looking for. To come across a member of the fold. It was exciting. He called me Laertes Guardiani.
Ah!
He asked me if Laertes had permission to stay, which I told him was hilarious to think I could stop Laertes from doing anything.
Interesting. It is we are touching the old kingdom's culture, I suppose.
I think this Athos has been around for quite a while. Studying with Hephaestus.
But not Hephaestus himself. Our
No.
Laertes will have to wait.
Laertes is so close, but I could still see how giddy he was, trying to hide it. Not hiding it at all.
Well, if he has to work, that it will give me some time to do a little bit of work of my own. I was going to order our shields to be reinforced, but they could not do it in a short time, so I bought some and I will decorate them. It will be quicker.
And you'll do a beautiful job with it. But maybe don't spend all night painting. I saw there was a masseuse outside.
To have our muscles pampered like athletes.
We might need to wait a few minutes. I saw Amadeo heading there straight, just like taking clothing off on the way.
Oh, of course. They, I have to imagine the size of the eyes of the King of Sparta when he sees the bill, and the other one, perhaps the sword will be drawn.
Good thing it is Amadeo who will have to ask for the bill to be paid, and we will be far away.
Yes.
And at some point early on, I'm going to see if Davos or Xanthus could run to Athos's house. I'll kind of probably just verbally tell them the directions to let Laertes know where we're staying.
Okay. Yeah, Xanthus offers to go. He will go and relay said information. All right. Anything else you guys are wanting to do tonight?
Us, it's going to book a massage.
Of course. Yes.
How late is it?
This point it is. Well, the time you guys are like settled and comfortable. Mid to late afternoon.
I think Cypress will make sure that the group that is present knows this. I think we're going to go check. Maybe we couldn't get a good shield, but perhaps there's more accessibility for a better sword. I think I'll go check an armory or a weaponsmith. And also see if there's a temple in town to Aphrodite.
Most of the big cities have a temple of Aphrodite. Just, keep to the main area. You don't
I'll
want
put
to
on
lose you.
those blinders.
It is actually not far from this area, so
If you need a temple companion, just let me know.
You are welcome to attend.
Mister, would you like to come or will you be painting?
I mean, the line is like super long for that masseuse. I don't want to pull you from your spot.
No, we booked a couple's massage for later.
Okay.
Will
It would be good to visit the temple of Aphrodite, but I want to make sure that I don't get behind on this. So, I guess I have already spoken for myself.
I'll bend down to where you're painting, give you a little kiss on the side of the neck. I'll be back in time for our reservation.
Esther, do you want to come?
I do. My appointment for my massage is not going to be for a while, obviously. And
Yeah,
I want
what's
to
your
see,
number?
All the
like,
pirates just ran instantly to the sign up and just like wrote all their names in.
Your number?
they
Cypress
need
like
There
checks
is-
your.
there is
Cypress
more
checks
than
your queue
one.
number.
Yeah.
Your like number that you pulled that they call in line is Omega.
I
I'm
like the
thinking of
idea.
like, oh, you first.
Oh, that Amadeo and crew wrote their own names and then all their aliases so they could keep going
God.
back for more.
It's like not even a
Got
fake
like the
mustache at the
Groucho
end,
Marx
just like
glasses on.
Just Groucho marching it in for another massage. Yes, this is my first time here.
What do you mean? I'm not Amadeo, I'm Babadeo.
But not.
He says
Holy
Amadeo
Joe
well before
Shabadoo.
the other person does. Who's this Amadeo?
this will teach you to go to the beach, Martel.
My name is Incognito. Get out.
I imagine this whole like Wizard of Oz Emerald City sequence with like singing and the scrubbing of the nails and everything.
Okay.
You
So,
can really dye my eyes to match my gown, huh? Jolly good time.
Oh my god.
Just to quickly illustrate what the Misto is illustrating, she's going to have taken her one of her little jars and filled it with water and a little bit of salt that she'd purchased and like shaken it up. And she is going to take her shield and the Guardiani shields that she bought, and for the Guardiani ones, because they had like patina look on their kit that they brought with, and these are the upgraded ones. It will take a while to happen, but she's gonna seed it now. She's gonna like spread the salt water over the surface of the shields to help it oxidize and get that green patina.
Nice.
And then she is going to study her sun wreathed in like leaves symbol on her shield and copy it as best she can onto the new one that she has for herself.
All right. As you are doing this, I'm assuming you're doing this like not in your room, or are you doing
I
this in your?
mean, depending on how it's set up, right? Like, if there's space for her to set up with like a little table or something, then that's fine. But otherwise, she just like, camp on the ground, probably with her room door open, so that she can like sit crisscross applesauce and
Yeah.
like prop up the shields and work on them.
I'll say that there's definitely potatoes. I was gonna say potatoes. There's definitely tables.
Where did these potatoes come from?
I don't
I've never
know.
seen such an exotic food.
Sheesh. There's definitely tables that you can use to kind of set up a little better, so you're not just sitting there on the ground or anything. But there's some tables that are just open for study or for feasting or for whatever, and you can claim
Nice.
one of these tables for your little crafts. We'll say that while you are doing this, you have. Oh, I was like, why is there this sound? And I forgot I left the furnace on. All right, no more furnace. There is some of the people from the other caravan are like moving about. You see Davos is like not too far from you, just kind of keeping an eye on you while also like relaxing for once.
Good.
But kind of stays close by watching as you do. And then there is a amongst the travelers, there is a young lady who comes out from the where the rooms are, and she's carrying a swaddled cloth and is like rocking a baby back and forth. And she's like just like rocking over, and then she curiously comes over to you and just kind of sees what you're doing. It's like, I hope that you don't mind me trying to entertain myself while I keep this one quiet.
No, of course. And please, there is plenty of room. Is this your? I cannot hear
No,
you.
we can't hear you.
All of a sudden, and I heard the boo-doo-doo.
That was the baby.
Oh, I was gonna say the baby makes really good noises.
Is your baby some type of a automaton? Is the Antikythera
It's a
baby?
lovely singing voice.
Well, she went to sleep. You're the windows.
Man, she's really kept that baby
The windows.
quiet.
No, that's the lullaby that she gave to the baby. Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Anyone here
It's
read
awake.
Project Hail
Yay!
Mary?
Yeah.
Ah,
There we
yes,
go.
you are back.
Oh yeah, there's like a.
That is
readout.
okay.
Anyone
Technical
here read Project
difficulties
Hail Mary?
existed even during Hellenic times, so
Mm.
just usually it was like a crack in the amphora or something.
Is
Same
it
thing.
working now?
Yay!
Okay. Yeah. All right. because
Okay, yeah.
if I turn off voice mod, you can hear me here, but OBS is only picking up my voice from voice mod, so I had to like turn that off and turn it back on again.
But it's entirely okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
So I take it from the top.
She's just rocking, baby.
Please have a seat if you want. Is that your little one?
Yes, Phelan is going to be a loud and noisy one, I'm afraid, but for right now, he's asleep, so I will take what peace I can until my arms fall off, at least.
Yes. Are you traveling as well?
Yes, traveling from Olympia to visit my sister in Massinier.
Do I know, is that a far trek?
Almost there, actually. Olympia is like far west side of of Greece from here. Mycenae is like if they left tomorrow morning, they'd get there by the evening. Like they're all basically almost there, but it's basically the same distance from Sparta to where Argos is, but you were traveling northeast to get there. They would have to have traveled just straight east, but similar distance.
It's quite a journey, is it? So Fallon can meet his aunt.
Well,
Or their aunt. She did not say the gender of the baby.
Phelan is a little boy. Yes, but I'll probably be living there for some time. So hopefully he grows to enjoy Messinier as much as I did when I was a child.
So, what takes you away from Olympia then?
Lack of family. My husband recently passed. And a few of my children as well.
I am so sorry to hear that. The gods hold them.
I would hope. But I have this little one. And this will carry me on.
Please, may I offer you a blessing? You see, and she'll point to the symbol on her little cloth pauldron. I am a priestess of Apollo. I don't know if you worship him more or less, but the sun shines on everybody.
She smiles faintly, but doesn't say anything.
In that case, the mister won't press. She'll just say something privately later. Argos. In fact, so she'll change the subject. In fact, I am painting this shield because in the dangerous times we are in, I feel like I needed to be a bit more firm. And that then these two shields for the guards that I travel with. That one there, Davos, is finally taking a break. It is nice
You
to
see Davos was taking a break, and now that this lady is there, he is sat up in his chair and is just watching, and then kind of curtly nods, but he's got into guard mode again.
Yes. Don't mind him. He is a protective, of course, but he has a soft heart.
Do not stop what you're doing on my account. I will just sit here quietly for now.
Of course.
She sits back a little bit and just you can hear her humming to herself as she like rocks the child back and forth and just kind of continues to watch you.
Is she a
as you
human?
paint. Which I guess to that degree, I'm assuming snakes out, snakes in.
Most of the time in a new place, I've been like snakes concealed. Would it change the interaction drastically if I were to just be gorgoning?
That's gonna be a you. That's a you choice.
Um,
Hmm.
s- I don't want to alarm you, but it's been a long day. Do you mind if I take my hood down?
No, of course not.
Yes. All right. Themista will take her hood down.
And see that she stays staring down at the little swaddled bundle that is wrapped up in her arms, and she looks over at you. And looks over. And then continues to look down at the baby. Doesn't say anything.
Groovy.
All right. We're gonna pause that for a moment as we follow.
Oh yeah, that was much more roleplay than I expected. Well, thank you.
as we follow Cypress, Phoebe, and Astrid. Mind you, yeah. So
We did do the swords and the spears and the longbows and
mhm.
never mind.
Yeah. So Cypress, what are you doing?
This can be super quick. Did we check a weaponsmith at the same time that we checked the armory?
I wasn't sure if you were using this as an excuse to get out. That was already done earlier.
And they were not purchased, or were they?
No, they were. Yeah, we had already
great.
talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. I know you and I messaged. I wasn't sure if it needed to be roleplayed.
No, you're
Well,
good.
thank you very much. All right, thank you. And then, yeah, Cypress is headed towards asking around if necessary the Temple of Aphrodite.
And I wouldn't say. Well, I mean, you could definitely ask around for it. It is not hard to get directions to, as
Is
it's
it
one
the
of
pink one over there?
No, but you do, when asked, get a little bit of some curious little giggles and or snickers whenever you're asked about where the temple is, and they give you directions. Don't really tell you where it is or what it's around, but they just like go down this street, make a left when you are at the statue. You'll find
Are we getting a historically accurate temple
Thank
of
you.
Aphrodite here?
This guy's just like, enjoy yourself, and just continues to walk on.
All right. I think we're headed towards the right place. Not for the reasons most people think.
Cypress, have you been to a
No.
temple of Aphrodite before?
Nope.
Cypress, do you know what you're getting into?
Like what happened in Sparta, but probably more dedicated towards it.
Yes. It's a delicate way to put it.
Makes sense.
Phoebe,
What is the
you're-
universal body language for do not approach me in this space?
Phoebe, you have a keen knowledge of temples
It
of
is
Apollo,
up at the top of the hill.
of Aphrodite. Yeah, because there's several of the biggest ones in all of Greece exist in Corinth.
Mhm. Literally at the top of the hill, looking down on the whole city.
I'd say I should approach in full armor, but I just know that some people there will not be deterred by that.
Don't want to get
I-
armored
I don't-
either.
I don't think it will be any kind of aggressive proposition.
You don't?
But no, because correct me if I'm wrong in saying any of this, Aaron. It is there for you to worship, but you're not going to be bullied into a certain style of worship.
It's a good way of putting it.
Well, good. I'm more
So
reassured.
just a polite no thank you.
Well, let's go.
After you?
By the way, implying nothing, but just thought I would ask. In the off chance that either of you wish to stay, should I just head out without you?
I mean, I think you know I've got my own one to worship with.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, Themisto's not here. Never mind.
I
Well,
was
you
actually
answered it, I don't
going
know.
I was going to see if there was maybe a temple to Artemis,
And I was going to look for a temple of Apollo.
or just a
We could
place
all
to
split
worship.
up here.
If you're uncomfortable with your friends following you to the temple, no
No,
judgment.
I am not, but I would be uncomfortable in your place going to such a temple with no goal other than companionship. So I didn't want to put the weight of that position on you, but if you are comfortable with it, then I welcome your presence.
Well, if the city is like most others and the temples are all kind of clumped together, we can go speak to who we need to and then meet up after.
Excellent. It shouldn't take long.
Phoebe almost goes to tease him, and then his daughter just about like just how much his
Did she
heart
stare
pines
at
for
him for a
Asterion
second?
for just like half a second more than like you know Phoebe enough that she's just like, no.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are going 3 different directions, yes? Because the Temple of Apollo and Artemis are definitely not where this one is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Meet back here in an hour.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Cypress, you follow the directions, and you already are starting to feel not necessarily uncomfortable, but you can already start feeling the presence of the eyes upon you of the people that are lining the streets. Not necessarily. It's not quite like certain quarters of like New Orleans, kind of like everybody's lining the streets, having a good time on the balconies and everything, but it's close enough. This is definitely a section of the city. And as you are walking with a purpose to very much the tallest and most grandiose looking building in this sector of, or this quarter of the city, where these villas are definitely like houses of repute, we'll say. You see the eyes that look towards you, the trying to catch your glimpse and lure you to doorways from windows and balconies, the almost continual sigh that follows you as you walk along this street. The music that swirls through the air, the smell of rose and myrtle, the perfumed scent that catches in your nose, but you continue walking forward to the temple. And it is not it's not like it's a huge temple, but it is still a nicely decorated building. This silken, velvety style, like carpet that walks up the stairways and into the very opened doorways. The low light that seems to be filling this space of shadows and incense. There is, as you approach, it's like one of those where the light is so different from outside to inside that you can't see inside of the temple as you approach the stairs. It's just like black and darkened because of the light difference. And then as you walk up the stairs from the shadows within, a woman appears. A golden tassel of a rope that looks like filaments of gold that are wrapped in the style of like a sailor's rope. It's a very thick rope, but it's just like filaments of gold. So it looks like it's almost part metal, part rope as it's tied around her waist. The sheer and very transparent dress that she wears is only tied on by that rope, and it is basically like, it's almost like when you take suspenders off, so they just have the suspenders that just hang down. It is kind of like that. It's just hanging down. There is the dress below, but it is just hanging down and around this belt. And she comes up to you with a curious look on her face, the wavy curly hair that she has that just falls around her face in this curious and seductive way that she just kind of tilts her head. She looks at you and her eyes narrow a little bit, and her head stops tilting and her demeanor changes and she kind of stands straighter a little bit. Can I help you, soldier?
I am here to entreat Aphrodite.
She looks like she's gonna speak, but then the words catches in her mouth. It's just like, entreat?
And speak with. If not with, then to.
You are
I'm not here for the...
normal ways of worship.
Yes, thank you.
She looks you up and down. Yeah, you don't seem the type. Come with me. She now seems less seductive, more business focused, I guess you could say. She walks into the temple, and your eyes adjust to the dimmer light, and your eyes stay focused on her naked back. And she walks towards deeper into this temple, and there are the sounds that you hear from other parts of the temple that just make you kind of like zero in and focus. The dimness of the lights, the very soft and reclining cushions and divans that are just placed on all sides of the walls. A couple of sleeping forms that are laying on some of them. The wine cups that are just everywhere, and the statues that are decorated with silks. You get to a little further back into the temple, and you see this massive statue of Aphrodite. The smell of incense is intense. It's like someone lit a rose perfume bottle on fire. It's intoxicating to the point of being honey and almost sickly sweet. And then you just kind of like, it's one of those that you've seen this in like cartoons when they breathe in a scent and it's like wafting and it goes in, and then they snort it out and it's just like just get out of my head kind of situation. It's kind of one of those things, even though it's not you can't visually see this scent, but in that sense of like you just breathe it in and then just kind of blow it out. It's just like you don't want any of it in you, in your brain, affecting your consciousness or your thoughts. The woman turns to you. You may call me Sofrina. What is your name?
I am Cyprus of Thebes.
Cyprus?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Cyprus of Thebes. What do you wish to say to the mother?
I wish to ask her for her blessing. I am nearing the end of my quest, at least as far as I can see. And this ending is fraught with danger. Less, yes, for me, but more for those that I care about, those around me and those not with me. If she would speak with me, I would ask her what she would have of me to curry more of her favor.
Wait, are you serious? More? What do you mean more of her favor?
I've spoken with her before.
Have you really?
But only spoken before you think anything else.
I assure you, you do not know what I'm thinking. She starts to like walk around you and starts to look you up and down in a very appraising manner, just like look. Forgive me. I find it slightly hard to believe that she would entreat with, no offense, you.
Have you ever spoken to her before? Forgive me. I know not your.
I'm sorry, did you
Forgi-
come here wishing to speak to Aphrodite and then you question her priestess? You're either
I
very
bowed.
brave or very dumb.
I bow deeply. A bit of both, ma'am. If I might, and he says this with a kind of embarrassed smile.
You bow and she
If-
puts two fingers on the bottom on the back of your head to kind of keep you down. That's better. And then finally like releases you to when you're like she waits a couple of seconds to see if you start to like fight it before
Nope.
she and the, no she just keeps her fingers on the back of your head just to keep
Yeah, I
you
can talk to
in
her
a,
as
in a,
she's doing
in a
that.
suppliant like position.
If you will permit me, I might have a way of expressing her favor. And again,
She releases your head and then just like she just laughs. By all means, Theban, please regale me with your efforts.
let me check something super quick. Is this okay? No. Cyprus will attempt to use the first boon that Aphrodite gave him,
Mhm.
and will attempt to channeling this magic instilled in him, cast Charm Person.
Okay, how would you do this?
His hair will ruffle,
Ooh.
and a little bit of golden dust will kind of fall back from it. The tips of his golden hair, like just the very tips, light pink a little bit. And he will kind of gesture towards her feet as the magic travels up them. His intent above board is less to actually charm her than to, as a priestess of Aphrodite, hopefully she can recognize this. But if it does charm her, great. Hopefully she would know that this is not a hostile maneuver.
aside from the physical appearances, do you say anything? Do you do anything? How would
As he's casting it?
Yeah. To try and charm someone?
Yeah. Despite however much it makes little sense to me too, Aphrodite has elected me her champion, and I wish to be worthy of such favor.
You don't realize fully your motions of your body as you say these words. Somehow you take a step forward and she takes a step towards you and you find yourself inches apart. You brush casually a curl of hair from her face and tilt her chin just up enough to meet you eye to eye. These charming gestures will count as a somatic component to this casting of a charm person. Just enough where she takes a step back in surprise. shakes her her head like as if she was shaking off a dream. Wow. Why would Aphrodite choose a boy like you as her champion? She leans, takes a step forward and goes, "Who are you, really?" And that's where we're going to go to break.
Wow.
Okay.
Cypress, you charmer, you.
Go,
Sexy.
you charmer.
It has, as of yet, I'm very glad it's usable in this situation. Most situations, I'm like, this is a bad call. I most likely will fail. Because it's that type of
Sonder,
magic
your
that if it
comment.
doesn't work and once it stops working, people are like, wait a second.
I like the way you described it, though, that you were wanting to do less of a charm and more of a show of the
Show of
power
your
itself.
ability. Yeah. But to charm person, you have to be, you have to say something,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I was just like imagining both of these things have to happen, particularly in this case.
The magic words are, hey.
Normally, somatic is just like
Or-
a hair flip.
Also would have accepted. How you doing?
Oh no! All right, well, don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. Safrina looks over at you and just like leans in. Who are you, really?
I'm Cypress of Thebes.
Yes, I know you said that, but who? Like, what? You have to be. She looks you up and down. I just. After some very noisy sounds, like, come with me. I want to talk to you away from that. And she
Very well.
opens a door on the side, this golden laced wooden heavy door, and just kind of like clunk, clunk, oof, and opens inside and leads you into what is, you would assume, her chambers. There is a really large plush bed in the center. There is a little bit of a balcony that kind of the temple of Aphrodite is not necessarily raised over any part of the city, but for whatever reason, this section seems a little higher than most. So you get like semi rooftops and kind of you can see a little bit of the now evening, the dusk falling over the city of Argos. She leads you inside and shuts the door heavily behind you. Okay. Sit down. Do you want some wine? Do you drink?
Only a little.
Fine by me. She goes over, pours herself a goblet, and
It would
gets you a
certainly seem
smaller
rude
goblet.
here.
You would be surprised. Now, she has the goblet in hand. Now, how did you come to talk to Aphrodite?
There's only so much that I am permitted to say, but I will absolutely say what I can.
Secrets? We thrive on secrets in this temple.
I am on a mission to return home to Thebes. And along that way, being driven solely by this quest, I was approached by our goddess for something that she saw within me, for my drive. Certainly not for the life I've led so far, at least as far as I can tell. As you say, I am
Boring?
young and some boring. Yes.
You don't
She-
strike me as the type that would be a partaker of flesh.
Cypress will kind of not answer for just a second and then carry on.
Oh, good. At
I-
least with that's out of the way. But indulgent. How about that? Do not indulge. Let me guess.
I am
You have only
driven
been
by-
with one?
Yes.
Should have known. Go on, continue.
That drive for that one and to return to him has apparently been significant enough to where Aphrodite herself named me her champion.
Now, at the risk of being cursed myself, and no offense to you and the life you have led, or the love that you have, as I'm sure it is a pure and noble thing. But there's got to be more to it than that. First, you're a boy. She doesn't normally choose men to be her champion, so I figure there was probably a catch. Of course you're in love with a prince. That seems more up her alley. She does like a little spice to her life, so I suppose. But you're not her type. Not by a long
Not
shot.
mine.
Clearly. She takes a nice, big, heavy gulp of her wine. So why are you here, Cypress of Thebes? You said you wanted to entreat with our mistress. Anything in particular? You said you were out closing in on your quest. You're not too far from Thebes.
Every so
Can't
often
you
on
just go ahead?
Sorry. Every so often on this quest, I have made a prayer to Aphrodite. And certainly early on, it was trying to understand our relationship. As you've been very able to divine, there is a lot that is unusual about it and about why she would choose me. I honestly know very little about her. I've never learned of her ways until she spoke to me herself. Of course, have heard of her, but Thebes does not talk much about the gods. They tend to talk more about the aspects of the world itself and its inherent primordial magic.
Which is
But
part of the reason I've never enjoyed going there.
it is home to me. But every
Lucky
so
boy.
often I would ask her what she would want of me, what goals, what I don't know what would help me to feel more like the title was worthy. For the most part, she seems to imply that the quest itself and the drive itself have been enough, but I find that it's still within me to keep striving for more in her eyes. And as I near the end of my quest, and as I reasonably believe that there is danger ahead of me, this is not going to be a easy homecoming, especially since when I left there was a kind of command to meet certain qualifications before I was permitted to return. I understand that some things have been, but the reason I'm returning now is less because I've completed that quest than because I believe Thebes and the one I care about are in danger.
A lot of words. Forgive me. You were sent away because of mother-in-laws?
Not yet.
Mother-in-laws to be?
In many ways, yes.
Ah.
Though it was my idea.
Not his?
No. In several ways, he did not want me to know.
No, I see. She goes over to a table, picks up a jar, takes off the lid, grabs a little stick of cinnamon. You can instantly start to smell it, and like starts to swirl her wine with it, like a swizzle stick. She like taps it and like throws it off to the side of the room. Spicy. I understand a little bit more now. So, what is your goal here then? You want her blessing? You want her to help you with the mother-in-laws because she really doesn't do that.
It is I've never been fully aware of what she would offer me. She has done many things for me. She has given me the ability to charm, which has only admittedly come into use now in our interaction.
It wasn't a, no offense, first time, could tell. Got potential. There's a few tricks we could show you for sure, but not bad for a man.
Thank you. And so it is, in blunt words, trying to take what I can get, whether that is more blessing or that is
Also
more
sounds
direct.
like a man.
I am what I am.
Poor creature. Yes.
But I,
yes,
of
you are.
course, do not wish to simply ask for. If there is a sort of exchange or thing that she would wish of me, I would like to know and offer it if it's in my power. But
She walks up to you and grabs the side of, you're wearing your armor, right?
yes.
Grabs the side of your armor, pulls you close. Kind of like the very aggressive way that they always put in movies where the guy grabs the girl and brings her in close. She she puts her fingers into the sides of your armor where the joints are and like pulls you against her. Cypress, there is always something that she wants. First lesson. Pushes you back. Goes, and she's already set her goblet down on the table. Goes over to the balcony, and you can just see her like rubbing her temples. Lord have mercy. Okay. So, you wish to go home to your prince. You wish to find that you can go home? Is that what I'm trying to understand here? You said he's in danger. Why do you feel like he's in danger? Wait, did you say he was a prince?
Yes.
Your mother-in-laws to be are the queens of Thebes.
Yes.
Oh, you are so royally fucked, and I don't even mean that in a sort of pun. Oh, you poor boy. I understand a little more now why she finds you so interesting. Your story is is going to be a wild one for sure. Now, there was something that I heard you say, and probably there was other things that got lost in the prattle that you were going on and on about. But you said that this was, how did you put it? This was your idea.
Yes.
So you don't know if he feels the same.
The arrangement was I was Asterion, that's his name, subservient. This is all you said my story is interesting. Okay.
I said there were parts of your story that were interesting.
I was
You were
Asterian's
his
subservient.
slave. Subservient, slave.
Define
You were
it
there
what
to
you will.
serve him, yes?
Yes. Raised from birth to do so.
I'm sure. Now,
The agreement to be freed of that status was to leave Thebes and come back with a worthy status according to the queens.
did he send you?
No.
No. Did he ask you to leave, to no longer be his subservient?
No. But we could not be united if I was his subservient.
Yes. Cypress, if there's something that I have learned, men always want something. And if they don't want something, if it hasn't come from their pouty little lips, I want this. It probably has not crossed their mind. Now, I cannot speak for your dear prince. Maybe he does love you. Maybe he does want a future with you. Who is to say until you return? Yes? So,
Are you asking me? Yes.
yes, I'm asking you.
Yes.
Okay. So, what I'm seeing here is a dramatic tale of love and loss. We hope, obviously, that this turns out good for you, that there is love involved. Clearly, otherwise, Aphrodite would not have chosen you. But Aphrodite is always one for a good story. And this has the prime example of love and a story, and maybe it has a happy ending, maybe it doesn't. Your job, our job, is to share and spread love. Now, I don't know how that fits into you being, well, for all intents and purposes, celibate in this, but you are showing a kind of love and devotion which is very rare amongst your kind. So, I'm going to assume that she sees something of interest in you. I don't know for sure what, but it's got to be more than just this story. She just wraps her fingers on the railing of her balcony, and then she's like, she goes over to a golden chest sitting against the wall, clicks it open, opens it, starts rummaging around for some things. Takes out a simple golden twine. At the bottom is a couple of beads and a single long white feather. She comes over to you and takes your hand, places the necklace into your hand. A dove's feather. It's been blessed and consecrated. It's usually something we give to our priestesses to start with. It should hang just about here. Now, I don't know how that will work with your armor, but I'm sure you can figure something out.
Yes. Thank you.
No, Cypress. Thank you. You've changed up the monotony of the evening. I was expecting to have to just lie about for a while, but here I am on my feet and mostly sober. So, miracles do happen. Whatever this danger is that you feel that you are facing, I don't know if Our Lady can help you with that in particular. But even if we did not go about this in the usual way of prayer and worship, I will say a prayer for you.
Thank you.
No. And please, whatever winds up happening once you arrive at Thebes, make sure you send the story back this way. I would love to hear how it all turns out at the end.
Cypress stands and bows. I will. If it is a story worth telling, I will certainly send it. To be clear,
I promise you, it will probably be a story worth telling, whether you like it or not.
the story might not be about me if I fail. But to be clear, the reason that I am asking for Aphrodite's help is not to make my arrival easier or more in my favor. I'm going home. And as much as it pains me with the possibility, I might not be received in the way that I wish. But things have changed since I've set out. And there is more at stake than just me.
You are truly something else, Cypress of Thebes. She digs fingers in the top of your, like, here of your armor, pulls you close, and gives you a kiss on the cheek. Pulls back. For good luck.
Thank you. And may Aphrodite bless you as well.
Oh, she's blessed me, all right. Too bad you'll never find out how. She winks.
I will smile and kind of awkwardly wink back and then turn to go.
All right.
What could she mean now?
Who knows? Sure, it's not important.
She's not made of fire.
As the evening progresses, Astrid, you find the shrine of Artemis. A small grove of trees that sits in the edges of a park. You offer any sort of prayer or anything to it?
Artemis, I come before you because I have slain the beast, Cerberus. I have done what is asked. What I have hoped to accomplish for some time. I got Mikos back. Eric's is by my side again. She is safe. But feel a sense of loss and guilt, perhaps. I spoke with Poseidon. He says that creatures like Cerberus are his creations. They are being turned to the plague. And it wasn't until I spoke to him that I realized that these are the creatures of his domain, no matter how monstrous they may be. They are natural. I don't know how many of them have turned, but something inside me just feels wrong now that Serapis is gone. Like I have made the wrong choice. Guide me in the ways that you can. The way that I feel about this cult of Phobos, about these dark creatures that consume people and spit out something vile. That is something else. Those are the true monsters. Show me your wisdom on how we can best defeat these creatures. Give me your strength. I'll ensure that something like this does not happen again. Like the fall. Thank you for the wisdom and the guidance you have given me before. May I follow your path? She'll cast a plant growth spell, like just at the back of the shrine, allowing for flowers and plants to bloom in that area.
Nice.
Not in a way that's disruptive, but trying to carve a path to make this area look more alive, if it's not already.
Mm-hmm.
Use that spell.
Very nice.
Like as an offering.
Okay. Phoebe, getting to the Temple of Apollo here. It's not very busy. It is the nighttime.
Are there any rays of sunset left?
Fading. It's not even really raised anymore. It's just when the sky has started to change color, and half of it is already darkened, and the other half is that burnt oranges and reds. You can see a couple of the clouds that catch the rays, so they look like the golden fleeces that kind of hang across the sky.
Then I'll go up to his statue. And I think I'll start saying this in Celestial, maybe not having chosen Celestial consciously. It's just kind of how it comes out. Interesting that you're making my path take me back home on this journey. Thank you for sharing your power, our power together in the sun. Hope I'm making you proud. And I'll see you soon.
You look up at the statue of Apollo as it glinting in the firelight, and the last light of the sun as it sets. You catch that little bit of warmth in the reflection that kind of scatters with the golden aspects of the statue. It's part marble, part gold, right? So there's a little bit of that scatter effect of the sunlight. You feel that warmth within your soul as the night kind of starts to overtake, and even though in this dark, you feel that warmth within, the confidence that you feel, and the insecurity. Both sides not really at war with each other, but just kind of like it's just like coexisting. It's just like the way a fire dances, and there's the darkness and lack of fire around it. It just kind of moves like a dance. The nerves that set Pringles down your spine as the chips fall on the ground. Just kidding. But the little pringly sensation, almost like goosebumps. It's just like the nerves, but a resolution still within. And the three of you eventually find your way back to meeting up together within the hour that was appointed. And start to wander back to the House of Travels. Themisto,
Yes.
this woman has been sitting here quietly for a while. Her baby, occasionally you'll see out of the corner of your eye that she stops rocking a little bit, and then within moments you hear that as the baby starts to like whine and fuss a little bit, and she starts to and starts to rock him back and forth again. May I ask you a question?
Of course.
Where are you from?
I am from Delphi.
Of course. I guess I should have figured that.
Do you ask because of these? And shall point
It
to
is
the
not
snakes.
something that is seen very often, that's for sure.
No,
But,
no, it is a unique feature of mine.
but Olympia is not so far away that we have not heard stories.
Yes. Yes. Olympia is a holy place.
There was once a girl who was an aspirant. She was going to travel to Delphi to try and become Pythia. She did not make it.
Was she from Kemet?
No, she was from Olympia. She was a girl who lived in a neighborhood with me. Minthe was her name.
Minte. Does this name sound familiar to me?
Mm. She was torn apart by dogs. There were men who wanted to use her gifts for themselves.
Ah,
At least that was what we were told.
had she made it to Delphi to practice and then gone on her pilgrimage?
No. She was going to go to Delphi. She was on the way.
Your sister?
No. No relation of mine. Just a girl that I knew. I don't know why that thought came to my mind. I guess we can never tell what tomorrow brings. And seeing that you have made it out of Delphi means you have had some sort of luck at least.
Luck, perhaps. My companions. They helped keep me safe.
The ones I saw you with earlier?
That is right. I am sorry they did not make it. It is a brave thing to seek to do what it is that we seek to do.
And you hope to be Pythia.
Yes. Yes, that is my hope. If it is such that I am chosen, anyway.
It is quite a process. You do have qualities, I would say, that I would hope for in a Pythia.
That is very kind of you.
It is not kindness. It is just stating facts.
I don't believe I actually got your name.
Nesea.
Nisaya. I am Tamisto.
I know. The door to the House of Travelers opens and your attention shifts away. You see Dreamy Cypress and Dreamy. You see Phoebe, Cypress, and Astrid walking in.
Holy, breaking the fourth wall, Batman.
Yeah. And when you turn
Oh my
back,
God.
Nasea is gone.
Uh-huh.
Themisto is going to pause what she had been doing, of course, and say to herself, for I see her, I could not see what is right in front of me. Who are you, Nisaya? A religion check, maybe?
Sure.
Or was she a spirit? Am I seeing dead people?
No, baby. If you put the N at the end of Nisea, she becomes a Saiyan.
Yep, that's what it was.
She also
Goku!
If anybody in chat's not a player, give her advantage.
Okay, so that's a 26.
Ooh.
Okay, never mind. She doesn't need it.
Your mind starts to go,
Insight.
not necessarily going through a Rolodex, but in that sense of like
Ye old Rolodex.
trying to find any clues.
Rolodex.
And the only things that stick in your mind from all of this was a mother from Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
Her curiosity towards you when nobody else in the traveling caravan has like bothered looking twice. You look over to Davos and you see he's fallen asleep. You start to wonder for how long.
Interesting.
The rocking back and forth of the baby that you never saw. Just a swaddle of clothing. And the sound that would occasionally stir. Her sitting in silence for so long as she just seemed to observe. And then you realize as you kind of thought about it, she wasn't watching you paint. She was watching you. With a very studious eye. curious. Your friends come up to the table.
Did you have a good evening, Themisto?
Yes. Some unexpected company and good progress on my painting.
Good
How
company.
was the temples?
No one bothered you.
No, it was no bother.
It was confusing as usually the interactions regarding Aphrodite are, but I believe beneficial.
I hope it was.
I did get this, and he, from beneath his armor, like pulls out the feather necklace.
The mister's gonna raise an eyebrow. Well,
I don't know.
from a priestess of Aphrodite, huh? She must have liked you.
I don't think she did. But we made conversation. And I'll put the necklace back away. She
When
didn't hate me, but she was the story that I gave of who I am and what I'm doing seemed to baffle her.
when
Nobody knows.
Themisto doesn't elaborate on her visitor, Phoebe will just give her a look like, if you want to talk later, we can.
Well, that priestess doesn't know you as well as we do, Cypress. And we
Thank
know
you.
you have a heart of gold.
She made a lot of comments about me being a boy. Or one thing or another.
Phoebe, sounds about right.
Well, I did try to warn you.
Ooh,
That I was a
painting came
boy?
out really nice.
No, just about the temples in general.
Again, I think it wasn't worth doing.
Did you
It-
have to?
It did make me I don't know if smug is the right word, but
That sounds right.
well, no, because she was asking me about Aphrodite and our interactions, and I couldn't help but think, aren't you the priestess?
You know, just because you worship the same god doesn't mean you actually have to like
No,
each
of
other.
course,
There were
and she-
plenty of kids at the orphanage I couldn't stand. So
No, of course. I guess smug is the right word, but I should probably suppress that.
I mean, Aphrodite still chose you.
I do wonder what Aphrodite's role is in all of this.
I've never been quite sure. She does seem to be aiding me, and as far as I'm aware, I am helping our overall very positive goal. But I think there's a level of doing this because it's entertaining for her, less because of a united front against darkness.
Well, we have also allied with Amadeo, so perhaps it is not so bad.
Huge quotation marks. But that's correct, yes. How about your visit, Astrid?
Oh, I just needed to get some things on. There was a nice little shrine to Artemis that I was able to use. I made it look. I adorned it with amaranth, the flower of Artemis, as an offering.
Did we go in I think Phoebe and Themisto were allowed inside the Temple of Artemis, but we couldn't approach the grove. So, yeah, I will ask then. Uh, do you think you have achieved what she asked the last time you beseeched her?
He said
Have
this
you-
was a lesson that the hunted I am truly looking for, the one that really matters, is Phobos.
Uh, yes. Identifying the correct prey, I suppose, is a skill of a hunter. I wonder how Laertes fares. Yes,
He's going to be worthless
Laertes
in the
has not yet
morning.
returned, so
Oh, he
But-
would he would be interested to know that when I did fight Cerberus. I should tell him when he comes. I'll wait for it. I'll wait when he is with us again. But it's an interesting bit about Hephaestus and the way that he repaired the ship.
yes, I am interested to know this as well. I of course couldn't wait for Laertes' return, but now even more so. The story attached.
So what exactly was he doing in this workshop?
They were working on his crystal. Was that you trying to transition back over to?
Blue black holes.
He's just like, "Ah."
The world may never know.
I like the way that your painting came out.
Thank you. This art is not, of course, my usual tools. Like I did for the wax tablets, but I did my best.
Maybe I could
I-
have you adorn the Hawk of the Sea with one of your paintings.
I would like to do this. Perhaps it could use a touch up on the protective eye.
Aye. Yes.
You might have fared a bit better growing up in Thebes. You have many artistic talents.
Hmm. But then I would not be trying to be Pythia, I don't think.
Oh
So-
no.
I
Maybe
could see myself
they'll
as an
receive you
artist in
positively.
another life.
All that
We
to
need
say
to-
you have beautiful art.
Thank you.
Do you think that we will meet this prince, your prince Astarion, when we go to Thebes?
I think it's very likely. I mean, at this point, the reason why I'm going back is not to complete the quest. It is to defeat the enemy that we are fighting against. I think it is very unlikely that you won't at least meet him. I know I'd like for you all to.
But I want to know what is so special about this boy that he has got the eye of our little lion.
He's kind. Among many other things.
Say, Phoebe, this former gymnasium has a lot of space. Would you like to dance with me?
I'd love to.
Perfect then. I know there is not music, but I can hum.
You have a beautiful voice. I'd love to.
All right.
Aster, do you wish to dance?
Let's pass the time.
But
Let's
the
go.
it's sweet. Don't get me wrong, the creepiest thing I can think of is people dancing to someone humming. It sounds like something perfectly Halloween. It's like, it's like they just start floating
it's not
around.
Just gonna be like actual humming. There's gonna be like some little bippity popping.
I'm sure, but in my mind, I'm imagining like
Cleo can actually beatbox really well.
Haunted mansion, like everybody's moving in unison and just going to the humming sound.
Misto hums the Game of Thrones theme.
I'm just thinking Least Reigns of Castamere, but yeah.
Yeah, basically. Beautiful. Okay.
Has no snakes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We eventually you guys managed to calm yourselves, relax, and head to bed for the night.
Will the Misto tell Phoebe any about Nisea?
Absolutely.
Okay, you don't have to say what you said. We can just recap, and I took notes.
Okay.
As a dreamy, just to save on time.
I mean, okay. So then, because we've been RPing a lot already, hey, I think Hera came to see me, and you mentioned her before, so.
And Phoebe will continue her Hera
Because
confusion.
of her interest in you, that she was looking at me.
We'll have to pray and see if we get any direction about what she wants. I'm still so confused.
Yes. Perhaps I will have one of these visions of mine.
I hope so. Any kind of clarity would help.
Okay. The crew, you see them occasionally throughout the evening as they've gotten their massage, and then they disappeared into their rooms, and you don't really see them again until morning. They've been rather quiet. It's good, but also concerning. They've been really quiet. Cypress, you go to bed. Normally, under normal circumstances, you would have been given you guys basically kind of have kind of a little bit of the shared room situation again. This time, we'll say Ma'al winds up sharing it with Astrid. The Spartan boys wound up taking turns, both kind of watching over everybody else as they sleep. And then the other one will go to sleep in the same room as Cypress, where normally Laertes would have been there. Laertes, throughout the course of the night, you and Athos work tirelessly. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about Cleosite, its usages, how it stores information. We'll say call it the laser test. The laser test where he had like fine-tuned the light into it and it had scattered, had showed him that it was not true Cleosite. He shows you with a true Cleosite. The light fires off into the crystal and it doesn't refract. It stays contained within the Cleosite itself. Impossibly, as there are transparent sides to it, but yet somehow it bounces around within it and just contains its own light without refracting, without scattering. And then you're just like, well, screw that. Like, I want men to do that too. Like, and perhaps in time, with much work and finagling, but you find yourself in a really peculiar circumstance that here is a master craftsman of the crystalline variety, and yet he is as best as he can listening to you explain your process. Doesn't have a mind for the mathematics, not by a long shot. but you see him try and grasp at principles that you used. And then you have a sense that, no, wrong word. You have a recollection of teaching Themisto a sort of arcanum in her own way, where the two of you came together, differing ideas, different methods, achieving a similar result. And this is another such similar situation where, for D&D terms, wizard speaks to artificer.
I was going to say.
Two different mindsets on how things can work. Similar similar outcomes. I mean, he's not the kind of artificer. He doesn't have metal tinkering toys or anything, but he just has a way of building things, and he uses heavily transmutation to achieve a lot of these goals. He also teaches you a lot more about the way Orphic power works, the taking of energy to use for something else. And it is something that is a more scientific approach to anything that you have seen, but still explains a lot about your companions and about the world around you, about how matter can be changed but never truly lost, how energy is just moved from one place to one source to another. He teaches you basically how to come to understand where your energies, you didn't realize you were taking them from the very sun itself, from the energy around you. It's a little longer of a term, longer sort of thing, but he shows you some rudimentary ways in which you can siphon energy from flame to use to do another effect. And this is more thematically than it is mechanically at this point. But later on down the line, there actually might be some mechanics to this, where you can take the energy from something, and it kind of ties in a little bit with Counterspell, even, where you're taking the arcanum of something else and then you're redirecting that energy and storing it and using it for something else. It's just it's more of you learning to understand the universe this story takes place in and how it affects things in a scientific manner, less so in the mystic manner that you have kind of navigated around, that you've seen your companions use.
I feel like Laertes, on a scientific level, has dabbled with the whole conservation of mass and energy. But it's different when it's the whole Orphic thing, because it goes beyond just what is typically observed. You know that when you throw a log into a fire, its mass is converted to energy. That's pretty simple. But where all their other power comes from, like with Phoebe and the sun, it's a little more easy to understand the connection there. And I've been thinking out of character where his would come from. It's almost that because he's so dialed into how the universe works, or at least trying to be, that if we're going with the more scientific aspect of it, he almost taps into that cosmic background radiation, like that fundamental force of the universe kind of thing, and trying to just little subtle tweaks here and there. A little bit of a alter a variable over there and a thing happens. Just balancing equations so things works out and makes sense.
Yep.
As for applying that to the crystal itself, I've been imagining this whole time a little bit of that scene from Iron Man 2 where he's building the collider to bend and refract the light to create a new element. Where he focuses that laser. It's a little bit where I imagined him first creating it in the first place. It's not just bashing rocks together and like, oh, that's a crystal now. Having to take some raw materials and do something marvelous and magnificent to it rather than something mundane.
Right.
And I was envisioned the process in mind is like holographic lithography, which is bending light to work stone until it becomes one and the same.
Nice.
It's this twisting and inversion because I also was thinking about the idea of running light through it and it becoming trapped because the light is the crystal now. And that would have been the aim. And just as much as he tried, it didn't quite get exactly where he was hoping. But now we're starting to see maybe how to get it there based on what we were sharing here.
Did what I send you, does that work for you?
Did you send me a new
No. Just from what I sent earlier. For just shits and giggles. On the surface level, we'll say that you get that as a finished product, right? It's not in place of what you have, just as how it works or what other things it can do now. You do gain a level of exhaustion.
Yep, that makes sense.
But you have now a upgraded little tinker toy.
Exhaustion. There it is.
All of the rest of you take a long rest. And come morning, Amadeo comes in. Starts knocking knocking it on. Well, knocks once or twice. All right, lazy bones, it's time for you to get up. We're going to have to start on our way soon if we want to make it to Thebes before, the end of the world or whatever.
Cyrus's smile goes away. And he gets up.
Like, wait,
Oh,
what?
that's a fun morning.
Buddy.
Fabian,
Hey,
sorry,
wait.
go ahead.
No, that's it. He's ready for the day. Getting ready.
I'm just gonna say, Fabian and Themisto up with the sunrise, doing their morning prayers and things.
Of course, yes. I think something important to note, though, is this time around, Themisto is... I don't know. Themisto just wanted to keep talking.
Yeah. It's all right.
Themisto has, in the past, when she's been performing this ritual, had all of these thoughts about the way that Apollo guides her and giving thanks to Gaia. She's rephrased these thoughts a little bit to focus a bit more on herself and what she can do. She's starting to accept that it's coming from her. Thinking about the way that she blessed that grove on the island with the villagers we saved, those sorts of things. Thinking about the way Phoebe described what she's been doing in the morning, the way that she's changed her approach to her ritual. So Themisto is starting to move that direction too. Not because she does not believe the gods are gods, and it's probably just semantics at this point, but she's now starting to accept that their group that their group is among them. So.
Nice. All right. Come morning, when you guys are finally finished with your product of creation Laertes, you emerge from the crevasse looking into the morning sunlight, and you see that Xanthus is like on some of the steps, a couple of, I'll say like 5 or 6 steps away from where the crevasse is at, but it was just kind of like asleep, having kind of passed out, waiting just in case. Him and Davos had basically switched off. Like they would come and watch out, watch over you, not really, but watching the where you were at just to make sure that you were okay. But a little sluggish, but still functional. You and Xanthus make your way to the House of Travels where you meet up with everybody.
Here, there, Tabitha, I've got you some tea and some breakfast. I figure you didn't eat it all.
He immediately descends down to the table, heavy. I wouldn't say he's like a heavy body at this point because he's still just a bag of bones, but he sinks into that seat heavily, as heavy as he can, and he's already digging into it, and he stops himself and just, thank you. And he's tearing away at it. He looks a little paler than usual, and he's already kind of a little wan and waxy to begin with some days, and a night without sleep, and you're kind of getting a window into what his college life was like.
As you dig in, Phoebe's just gonna lightly like pat your shoulder and go, if you need an extra arm to lean on, you know where to find me.
Thank you. And he just scarfs it down quickly.
It
knowing
looks
that
as
he's
if you've
about
had a productive night.
He's going to wipe off a little bit. And is there anyone else in the room, Aaron? Is it just the group?
Would be yes. This is the main area where at the traveling inn where there's basically like one of the side tables that's there. So maybe not like in the immediate vicinity, but this is a big open space where there's a bunch of bigger tables that you can kind of.
And I'm assuming there's no Nisea and baby this morning eating breakfast.
Correct.
Okay, so this is still out in the open in comparison, a little mixed company.
Correct.
He goes, I think I took it a little further than I got to last time.
Good.
That is a positive thing.
And with half the explosion.
Also very good.
Cypress, your mind immediately goes to the first night that you had ever spoken with Laertes and learned that he had apparently blown up half of a city before.
Is a quarter of the city gone?
It's just the artisan quarter. It's fine. Good cause.
No one's gonna miss it. It's fine.
Aren't we trying to avoid deaths?
I reach out shakily, hand on Cypress's shoulder. Just never change.
Nice.
All right.
Slide you another mug of tea.
Thank you. Method acting.
So, Capitanios, do you think it is about time we call the pirates over and decide where we are headed next? Or at least we know where we're going, but to get on to the next leg.
yeah, so if we make a good time, let me look at my handy dandy little map that I have here.
We should be in Corinthos by what, midday, mid-afternoon?
I mean, more than likely, yeah, probably. Don't see why not. Let's see, from here we got the travel up to Nemea. Should probably take us about, a few hours to get there. So then we should be by Corinth by afternoon.
Corinthos then. Temeste will look and smile
Ooh,
at you.
muted. Oops. Sorry.
Capitanios?
What were you gonna say, Sander?
Oh, I had been talking earlier and I didn't realize I was muted.
Oh.
Oh no.
It's fine. It's fine. It's something. Oh no, I was going to say.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see. You start on your way out of Argos. Now with shinier things, a few new baubles, some more jewelry, and a few more stories to share along the road. As was said, you leave early enough in the day, and as you head out, it is a decent amount of travel to get towards your destination.
How's the weather today?
Cloudy. Not in a overcast way, but just there's a bunch of heavy clouds in the sky.
Whenever the sun does break through the clouds as we walk, I'm gonna very consciously just like absorb the pockets of being in those rays between the clouds. One, to kind of test out the feeling of consciously absorbing power, like I saw Athos doing from the fire, but two, to just like bolster my strength for whatever we see this afternoon.
Similarly, Themisto, since it has recently rained and it is now nice and fresh, is going to be enjoying the scent of the earth.
Okay. About halfway to Nemea, Themisto, you spot a flock of birds. They fly in a cloud.
A flock of birds.
They fly in a cloud. They fly in a cloud back the way you came. And they seem like, it's kind of like one of those, just a cloud mass.
Yeah.
And then from nowhere, a blackened streak goes through the clouds. And you see the clouds go scatter. The birds scatter as a falcon has grabbed one of the birds and flies off with its prey. Out of nowhere.
Themisto's snakes hug close to her head as this happens, all tracking the falcon.
And the birds scatter, and there's no further sign, but it was a strange omen. Something about it, even though it is nature, sets your heart to kind of beat a little faster. And it's probably about an hour outside of Nemea that you start to smell smoke. And then
smelling the smoke, Themisto is going to touch the sword on her side, and say to the party, "Hey, that flock earlier, the one that encountered the falcon, I don't know if you saw it, but this does not bode well."
Picking up the pace a little bit, the Mystios in your company seem a little more on edge. The Spartan boys as well. Everyone seems to be looking eyes to the horizon as much as possible to see what might pop out at any opportunity from behind tree or boulder or hillside. And then you see the haze of smoke in the sky before you see the ruins of Nemea. The city is not large. More of a town, really, at this point in history. But the smoldering ruins of fire are very evident. Collapsed buildings. And as you approach, the bodies as well. There, amongst the ruin, you see that not all buildings that had been collapsed were by fire, as giant claw marks rake across stone and break apart wooden beams.
Are they marks that came mostly, like, primarily from above?
It's hard, a mixture. This seems like a large beast. And as you move through the town, you see it, or see one of them. A chimera. It
Still alive
seems
or like a body?
a body. Partially slain, oozing blood. Blood that is both red and around its wounds blackened. It lays crumpled over some like wooden walls that have collapsed. Everybody make a perception check for me.
Dirty 20.
Or Astrid's perception check. Could I see whether this chimera was defending the town or the one attacking it?
That wouldn't be hard to tell. Judging by the wounds, you could make a nature check or medicine check.
3.
Nice.
Natural 20 for a 26.
Just a 15 for my perception.
Okay.
17 perception. Not a great medicine check though. That's okay.
Okay. I would say that you, at least you in the Monster Hunter sense, know when wounds are inflicted by beasts and know when wounds are inflicted by weapons. This thing looks like it was using weapons, or weapons were used against it, meaning probably it had been something that had been attacking the town. Yeah. Okay. As you approach, those who rolled over 20 can hear muffled screams coming from beneath the rubble under its body. I believe, Iskra, you had Themisto, you had rolled higher than a 20, correct?
This time it was not the Misto.
Oh,
it was.
I got a dirty 20.
Leontes.
Dirty 20. Okay, yeah, and it was you two, but I thought you had it as well. Then
No, I just got a 15.
okay, for Phoebe and Laertes, you hear the sobs and screams of a girl crying for help. And you're trying to locate where in this field of rubble of this city or this town this is coming from, but you can hear it faintly as if it's below something. Do you say anything?
Mm-hmm. I'll go dash trying to find it.
But do you
Sounds
just
like it's coming-
do you
Yeah.
tell anybody else? that
Yeah.
you-
Yeah.
But you said that we can hear it from underneath?
It sounds like it's muffled. It sounds like it's coming from somewhere close to where the creature was at. Some muffled sound of help! Please, somebody help me,
Then there's
please!
Someone trapped in the
Misto.
rubble. Please, we've got to find her.
If you stand next to me when you start running, you go very fast.
Ithimisto will look up from hearing what Phoebe said before she hastens off. Yeah. And she thinks about a vision that she had at the very start of this adventure where there was a woman trapped in a dark place with water around her.
And
And
it's the words that Phoebe uses that are the exact same as the ones that you heard in your vision.
she goes, I know where she is. I don't know exactly, but
You look
is there a well or a river nearby or something that would cause water to flow into a space?
you look around and you realize that where this body of this chimera is looks like the center of the town, where the wooden wall that it had collapsed against and that had crushed over looks like it's on top of something else, potentially a well.
Laertes, can you get this off? Move it.
He's already running up, and I think running is a strong word, but trying to get there as quick as he can, and attempting to cast levitation to wrench this thing up into the air and move it to the side.
If you may need to fly down there.
You lift this chimeric creature, an amalgamation of lion and goat, the serpent tail, and the head of an eagle. All of it just kind of like flops up and around. It just looks like this Frankenstein hodgepodge together of creatures. And at each juncture where body differs from body, it looks like there's blackened veins that connect that body to another. And your mind starts to momentarily, like, we'll put a pin on that sort of thing that you notice as you get this off. They're immediately Davos, Xanthus, and Mog, Nikos, Amadeo, they all get to this wooden wall and start to try and lift it up as well. And indeed, there is a crushed well beneath it. And you can now all hear a girl, please, please help me, please. Laertes, what were you going to say?
Just be careful. She may be infected as well. We have to be cautious with this.
The creature's still alive, right?
It's dead.
Not dead.
It's dead.
It is dead. Okay.
Can I get up to the lip of this?
Mm-hmm. You look down, and about like 7 feet down in the water, clinging to a rope, is a girl that looks maybe like late teens, early 20s, completely drenched, shivering cold. You can see from her, just where her hands are, that her skin is like pruning everywhere from having been in the water for so long.
Okay.
All of us, can we hoist her up?
Wait. All the blood everywhere. We don't know how bad this is. We can do something else. And as I say that, the concentration drops on the creature and it flops onto the ground heavily as I recast it on the girl, as I'm saying, we're getting you out, just let us lift you. And I'm going to step back, and hopefully the girl is lifted.
She starts to lift up into the air. You can see there's like the whimpers and cries of being tired and exhausted, and then the scared of now being lifted up by invisible means as this girl is lifted up into the air. What is happening? What is happening?
It's okay. We're just getting you out of the well. And I'm going to try and use a little bit of that microgravity adjustment to bring her onto the ground as I drop concentration.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still looking for signs of, did this infect the girl? Is she dripping in this black blood?
There is none.
That is
you can
maybe
see
in the water supply.
Yeah. You just see wet. You see no blood on her. You see no signs of plague visible at the moment.
What is your name?
Callisto.
Callisto and Phoebe. It's all right.
You're going to be safe now.
Her head immediately starts like looking around. Are they gone? Are they gone?
Who is they?
The monsters that attacked the village and burned it. Where is everyone? Larities, what were you gonna say?
I'd like to utilize that Belduran sense right about now, please.
It scans outwards. I don't remember if we've ever discussed whether it would affect anything that's dead. I'm gonna say that.
I think we went with active is what we were going with.
You don't sense anything.
Up to, I think, was it a half mile?
Mm-hmm.
In either direction?
Yep.
Okay.
What kind of creatures that is this chimera here, but it is gone?
Things like that. Creatures I've never seen before.
So it's going to get a blanket or a cowl, some kind of something to keep her warm.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what they came for. They came from, but they came and they destroyed our village. And I tried to run, and then I was struck by the wall and knocked into the well. That's all I know.
Callisto, the fates may have saved you in that well.
You look about at the destruction and how the vision that you had took place. 2 out of 3. You start to recollect not a vision that you had thought about much, but you remember the final part. People, soldiers, men of might, warriors? In the dark, facing something that they feared. One more part of the vision that is still yet to pass. Your mind focuses in for a moment on that vision once again, and some of that armor looks familiar. Whatever it is that you saw is going to be happening soon. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Boy.
All right. Interesting.
When did you have these visions? Like,
Right?
Like
at the
second
beginning.
episode. Second episode, I want to say.
okay.
In fact, Themisto wrote a letter to the Pythia, including all of them. And so there's proof out there that she actually had these visions too. Goodness.
What a callback.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were just like, so I've seen this before.
A little bit. It was the same
Oh,
vision.
boy.
This was the same vision that she saw the death of Apollo.
Mhm. And she was worried that there was someone else out there that she couldn't save because she's like, well, is it happening simultaneously? Like,
Dum dum dum. All right. Well,
Cool shields and weapons and
Everything has a.
transmutation for a town.
You have to remember, what were we discussing in order to make the crystal, in order to discuss Orphic ability? It's all about cost. It's that equivalent exchange thing. It's all got to come from somewhere.
ba-dum.
This happens to be this young girl's village. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No.
The way the math works out is that this small village paid a price so that we'd be more powerful to fight the big bad later.
Oh no, we lost Cypress again. Well, I know he was having internet problems before. Cypress is going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks, so we will miss him, but you know, he'll be around. Sort of. But looking forward to
pieces. No.
looking forward to next week. Continuation of this. Gestures broadly at everything. Tomorrow for some more vampires. And a couple sacrifices must be made, but that is a price I'm willing to pay. Some of you may die.
Some of you may die.
Oh my god.
Farquad.
Beautiful. No, that was that was all pretty dope. Fishy! It was all pretty dope.
It was great.
Yeah. Had some very interesting characters and moments here. So
What is old busybody Hera up to? I am
I love it.
confusion.
I love it.
She just doesn't want you to leave the house without a sweater. Like, don't complicate it more than what it is.
Since
Oh, I see your
you
arts and
know,
craft project. You're doing real good,
No.
honey.
Since Phoebe
Not to
is
witness.
potentially her niece, she's just checking out the girlfriend, making sure that she's all right, you know?
Up to standards.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Internet just booting me 3 times tonight.
You just get all the boops, is what it is. All right.
I'm
well,
sorry I didn't see your messages, Aaron. I tried to turn on Discord several times tonight, and it wouldn't on my laptop. So
No worries.
Didn't see
No worries. You're good. We will see you next time. You guys have a good night. Stay fae. Be brave. Is it Tuesday yet? Is there mangoes involved? Are there moons? Is there air? You don't know.
What is the state of your spread, Bunny?
Oh no, not the bunny. Not the
Ooh.
bunny.
Also, join us tomorrow for Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes.
Same time, different day, different story.
Same place.
Same place.
I'm a
Question.
brunette on Wednesdays.
Question.
The sacking of Troy.
Uh-huh.
Because right now it's Ilum, right?
Yeah.
hmm
Okay. So if Hercules sacked Troy, then he doesn't exist yet, or is young right now. So is Hera holding Hercules?
I mean, if she
the
was,
baby?
she would be
Or-
strangling him. Since she's the one who sent the serpents to try and kill him to begin with.
yeah, she did not was not a fan of
Not a
Hercules.
fan. But there are some interesting ramifications that are very deep dives that were placed in this episode that may or may not have like effects on future mythology. So,
I need a Lord Dumplings to explain all of that in the
oh,
future. when you
we
can.
will. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll see if it navigates in that direction. But we definitely set some seeds up here that could be a thing later. But yeah, we'll get to that whenever it happens, if it happens. All right. Until then, have a good night. We'll see you later. Love you guys. Bye.
Don't forget to vote.
That too.